So I figured this was a good time to review this unit since I've had it going for roughly 6 to 7 months now. We got these as a pre-release version, me and quite a few other people. And this is the top of the line WORX mower that they currently make. Now, I'm doing some maintenance on it because I wanted to show some of the flaws to this unit before I even got started on all the other stuff, because everybody wants to know this stuff over everything else. How much maintenance is it? How much trouble is this machine to keep going? You know, other things. So as you can see, now, one of the things I want to clarify, my yard is a fescue bluegrass yard. I cut it at normally 4 to 5 inches. Now, this mower only cuts to 3.5 inches. So to me, that's kind of an issue. And another thing is, if you're not cutting it, in the summertime, if you're cutting it down below 3, it's going to burn and not stay as green. So I like to keep mine maintained at least 4 inches minimum. Now, I have been letting this and my motion mow this whole area here together. One goes one way, one goes the other way. But I'm doing the maintenance on it now, and I wanted to show you some of the things that I run into. And this up here is a constant deal. So this is where the weed eater is at, and this is where I get a lot of the issues. Is if you look in here, you can see this, the way this has this comb type deal, catches all this grass and it gets locked in there, as you can see there. So you can see how much buildup's in there. That's where the weed eater side is. For some reason, this comb just grabs it and piles it inside there, and it compacts so tight and up in there that it makes this to where it doesn't even work. So that's an issue if you have a taller yard. If you have a shorter yard, I don't know if it would do that. So if you're cutting below 3.5 inches, it may not do that for you. I've been running this whole time, and I'm just now changing out the blades on here. So I'm going to show you that. You can see I've put a new blade on here and here. There is the one that is wore out, as you can see. And here is what the worn out one looks like. I'll show you it on top of a new one so that you can see the difference of how much it's wore down and wallowed out. So you can see there, see how much side it's eat off there. Now, they can sharpen these pretty simple, but I mean, these are so inexpensive. And they send you multiple ones with it, so it's really not that big a deal. They take maybe, 5 minutes to change all 5 of them out. You've got 3 on here and 2 on the weed eater, as you can see here. I'm gonna change every one of them out and clean all this out when you are going to maintenance this. So one of the things I will say is every wheel, as you can see, gets stuff wrapped up around it in those gaps. And also on the inside of the tire, you got to try to keep this blowed out right here. For some reason, it wants to gap up in there and then push the rubber off of the wheel, which is held on by this plate here because it has a little lip, you can see, that holds it on there. So, like I said, that's some of the things you're going to have to keep clean. You're also going to have to keep your charging port clean up here, keep the cameras cleaned off, and keep this blowed out in this area. It builds up all through here, as you can see, and then under here, this flaps, and you have to blow this out because it gets full of debris in that gap in there, and then it molds inside there, and I've blown that thing out, oh my goodness, I don't know how many times. And so, I mean, I've had no trouble out of the machine. I'm showing you all this, but it's continuously mowing, continuously doing its thing, but it is not a maintenance-free mower. So that's one of the things you're going to have to understand, that you have to maintenance these things, you have to take care of them, but it has maintained back here just fine. But like I said, it's, you know, here's things you got to do. So I wanted to show all that beforehand and show the weed eater and see the problem that I have. This gets close to the landscape versus not having the weed eater on there. So I really like that, because a lot of them leave this huge gap, like 6 to 8 inches, where this one gets it right up by the landscape and edges around it for you. Nice feature to have. I also like the battery where you can swap it in and out. Now, I've never swapped the battery. I do wish that it had a bigger battery in it. It seems like that the servo motors in the wheels are worked really hard, and I think that a higher capacity battery would make the machine that much better. So I'm gonna knock some of this off here just so you guys can see the buildup. Like I said, this is something that you have to do in this machine on a regular basis if it's mowing every day. And these machines are meant to mow every day. It's you know, it's a maintenance machine. It's not like a mower. You can't send it out into really thick grass and expect it to take it down. It's a maintainer. So you let it mow all the time. And, you know, I think a lot of people are confused on these mowers and think they're like a mower, but it's a maintainer. And it does great for maintaining stuff. And, you know, one of the cool things is it can do different patterns. It can do all kinds of other stuff. And it's just, you know, able to do that by GPS. There's no RTK thing set up where you have to set a different pole. It's all built in the machine. And that is excellent. Whereas a lot of these other machines, you have to have a pole to communicate with satellite. This one has it built on top of the machine, as I'm going to show you, and it is worked excellent. I've had 0 issues out of it, and that is something that I really like, because sometimes the RTKs, if you don't have them high enough or set, you know, just right, they give you a lot of headache. And so this here, you can see this back wheel. Look at the buildup in these. See this? Look at that there. It gets on that bevel. This is kind of like beveled in here downward, and for some reason it just shoves it in there and rolls it around those wheels to where it puts stress on that wheel when it's trying to go. So that's another thing. If you don't maintenance this and you don't do it properly, the machine will not cut as good and it won't run as long. So when you maintenance it, it's going to work better and run longer. So that's one of the things is you have to do. Here is the RTK on top, which is really nice. All the other ones, like I said, you have a setup with a pole. This also has the swappable battery in it. And what comes in this, the biggest one they have right now, is the ProShare 20 volt 8 amp. Hopefully they come out with a 12 amp in this, but this looks like it won't matter what they come out with, because this is the biggest size that can go in it. So you can see there, locks down. You can adjust the weed eater over here to different settings. As you can see, it's a little bit stiff because it gets that buildup in it. And that shifts your weed eater up and down. See there? I'm going to turn that. Well, I got to push it down, but okay, there we go. See, it adjusts the whole thing up and down as I push that. Pretty neat deal. And like I said, it will weed eat or cut the edge of the landscape while it is working. And it's one of the only ones with that feature, and it doesn't leave near the gap that the other ones do. So I'm going to blow this out with my blower, and then I'm going to start it mowing and kind of showcase it mowing after a while so you guys can see that. I'm not a big fan of the screen that's on here, but you can see it if you get down close to it. You got to keep it clean. It's kind of got like this, I don't know, it's like a frosted glass on it. Oh my goodness, look at that little tick going across there. Man, these things are nuts here right now. Anyway, once you get this booted up and you turn it on, you power it on here, it's going to ask you for a code. You put your code in. It's a 4-digit code you put on there, and then it will, you know, basically tell you that it is good to go. Right now it's saying idle, and I'm just going to send it home. The weed eater, like I said, is something that you constantly have to mess with. Now, I'm going to show you some of the app features on this. Like I said, it has quite a few things it can do. One of the things that I really wish this unit had, that a lot of other units had, like the Arvo has, the Momotion has, is this unit does not have the ability to see out of the camera system on it. So if it gives you an error or anything like that, you can't really see what's going on unless you go to the machine. Another thing that I wish this unit had was a way to drive it when it gives you an error, but it won't let you do it because obviously you do not have a camera system. Now, some of the other units I have, you can look out of the camera system and you can drive it at any point, so that you, if it gives you an error, you can be in another country and you can literally get on the app, drive it out of the error, and then start it back. I really wish they had that on this. The back articulates, as you can see here, to give it a different articulation when it goes over terrain. It's telling me it's lifting because it thinks I stole the unit because I picked it up. But anyway, also, it is one of the slowest mowers as far as maneuvering. It's a slower mower, but it cuts really crisp and really good. That's one of the main things. It lays down a nice little stripe line. You can't really see it because this is faded. I'm about to let it start back up, and I'll show you guys that. So I'm going to get this started and let you guys see it mowing. So here it is mowing. And like I said, my grass is extremely thick, so you can see the cut on it with the new blades. It does leave some stragglers in that. And, you know, it's nothing like a regular mower, but it will go over this and keep it to where it's cut. This is mowing at the maximum height of 3.5 inches. And you can just see that it trims some of the stuff. And it's mowed over this. You can see the difference in the two. So you can see the little lines where it's mowed this way. I mean, I really like the lines that it makes through there. It's definitely a different look. And when you have it do a checkerboard sideways, it makes a really neat looking, almost 3D lines, because they're little bitty spindle lines going both directions. I'm not having it checkerboard right now because I'm having the other mower mow both directions. Now, I will say that this thing, if you've got tall Bermuda, it really struggles with it, but it does maintain it and keep it cut, as you can see here. You can see the difference in the two, where it has not been cut across through there and where it's been cut. I mean, it still leaves little bitty pieces. And another thing that it doesn't have that I wish it had was you could speed it up and slow it down. Some of the other ones I have, you can make it go faster or slower in comparison. And I think on yards like this, this would really help if it could slow down. And like I said, I would also like to see the ability to see out of the camera, because, you know, it has the camera on it. it just doesn't let you see out of it. And I would really like to be able to do that. One of the things about it is, though, it doesn't disturb your ground. It's not going to compact your yard and a lot of other things, but just like this, there's no vacuum. And so if you're not cutting your yard tall, it lays a lot of this bluegrass and fescue over. And look at that. So, you know, like I said, if you want your yard tall, then this is not going to do it. Because like I said, this here is just, it doesn't have any vacuum because it doesn't have real blades on it. But if you let it go over it every day, all the time, I haven't let it go over this consecutively enough over the past week or so, but it, like I said, is been pretty well at working and continuing to work. There's been some hiccups along the way, but these later updates have been pretty well. And like I said, when you get down here and it's not as thick a grass, it does a whole lot better than it does when it's on extremely, extremely thick grass. It's super quiet. See the difference in height? You can see it with that different camera angle. It's cutting it, just doesn't vacuum. It'll just do that at random times. I don't know what it's doing, but it stops almost like it's calculating, and then it will go back to doing its thing. But you can see how close it's going to get to this landscape. You can hear the little weed eater on too. So it's been mowing for some time. So you can see it gets pretty close. It gets about 2 inches from it. So it probably leaves a 3 to 4 inch little gap. I mean, I weed eat mine down. So, and grass kill around the edge, just because I don't want to get my mower over close to rocks. So it makes it way easier. But I mean, you see how close it gets up here to the house too.